The Basshole podcast is sponsored by Blue Chew. That's right, Blue Chew. Have better sex with Blue Chew. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. And starting now, Blue Chew is offering a combo so strong, it's going to knock your socks off and your neighbor's socks off. You're going to have to move towns with the amount of noise that you're going to be making. Introducing Blue Chew Max. It's arrived, it's here, and it combines all the active ingredients of Viagra and Cialis into one chewable tablet. That's right, one tablet. This combo acts fast and it lasts. And you can get your first month free by going to BlueChew.com and using the promo code BASSHOLE at checkout. That's right, just pay $5 shipping for your first month. That's BlueChew.com, promo code BASSHOLE for your first month free. Now, let's meet some bassholes.
What is Podcasting from Basshole Studios in Los Angeles.
What time is it?
It's Basshole with Doug Bass.
Asshole, major asshole.
We've all been one. So let's laugh about it. Now, here's your host, Doug Bass.
He's an asshole. Do it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Basshole Show. My name's Doug Bass. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you follow the podcast on Instagram at Basshole Show and the YouTube channel. Follow that at Basshole Show for the full video experience. Super excited to have my guest here in the studio today. We have comedian Nicole Burch is here joining us, and she's here. Nicole, how are you? How you been?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Hey, thanks for coming here.
Yeah.
I saw you, I don't know, like a couple weeks ago, I guess, on St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
When you released your podcast episode that I was on with you.
Yes.
Your podcast is called The Funny Thing Is.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much you have guests come on and they talk about a life-changing experience that changed them, obviously finding humor out of it, and what's the medicine they took to get better from it. I had a lot of fun on your episode.
Oh, good.
Obviously, it was a big deal for me. And for those who listen to it, check it out. Just talking about my divorce experience and all that stuff, and it really felt good to come clean and talk about that on someone else's show, because I haven't even done it on this show yet, which I'll get into it at some point. But a lot of people liked it. A lot of people loved it. They thought it was funny. Very popular.
Very popular.
Some people that knew me and knew the whole thing, they were like, "You were too nice on the show," and I was like, "Okay, well, maybe I'll lash out on mine when I get into it on mine at some point." But
Yeah, no, I was getting, that's the one that I think I still get messages on.
Yeah.
Which is weird because you get messages for like the first week maybe.
Sure, yeah.
But this is like, 3 weeks later.
Right.
And I'll still I think I got one on Tuesday.
Oh, cool. Well, that's always good to hear. Hopefully they're messaging positive things.
A lot of, is he single?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, then maybe you'll have to forward me
I'll send
their
you
DMs.
This. Yes. Yeah.
That's hysterical, though. So how did you come up with the idea for your podcast? The Funny Thing Is.
I think because the one thing that I've always been really curious to get to know people, and I think that the big life stories, everybody has one, which is so weird because only in season 3 have I come up against inviting people to be on the podcast, and I'm like, do you have a story you could share? And they're like, oh, I'm a comedian and I haven't had a really big life-changing event. I'm like, there's no way that's true.
Yeah, right.
And it takes some sifting. This is the only season that I've had an issue with, finding that. But everybody does, by the way, have something
absolutely
in this industry.
It's weird. Like even with this show, it's like people are always like, I've never been an asshole. I don't, and I'm like, you're full of shit. I'm like, but like it's weird. It's different when people like are being recorded with cameras and lights and stuff, and then they dish out their secret stories or a story that changed their life that they never really talked about publicly or whatever.
Yeah.
And as comedians, like, I mostly have comedians on, but like you probably have all kinds of people on
mostly
your show.
Comedians, though.
Mostly comedians. But like a lot of comics are like weird and scared of like getting like vulnerable or talking about like, like an asshole story on this show or like a deep, dark secret show or, it's like, it's weird. Like, it's like you're performing and you're telling all these jokes, but like, get vulnerable up there. I
think if you're like, a Stephen Wright comic, okay, like, you're not going to be the most vulnerable.
Right. If you're one
that's not your material.
Yeah.
But like for me and probably for you, like a lot of it is telling our own personal stories.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to hear everybody else's. And now this season, I'm also getting quite a few more people that deal with the medicine part. Like we've had a pediatrician on, we've had an ayahuasca shaman on,
and
cool. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So like the people that are in charge of facilitating the medicine, which can go from anything from like talk therapy to I think Chris Porter's was marijuana and stand-up comedy. And I tried to get, I don't want every comedian to come on and say, oh, stand-up healed me, right? Because you're like, what
Yeah.
else did though? You know what I
Right.
mean? Yeah.
They can only do so much stand up. And then
Right.
before it tears you down as well, open mics and whatever, doing
Yeah.
shows for 5 people and, all that good stuff that comes with it.
Exactly.
But it's, I love the idea of your show and I had super fun on it. And this is your 3rd season that you've been doing,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you going to do a season 4? Are you going to continue it?
We are. I mean, we're still in the middle of season 3.
Right.
I think we're going to try, because we're going to be moving like in the summertime.
Mhm.
So we'll have enough episodes to go through middle of the fall.
Yeah.
And then I'll be back and forth to LA to finish season 3. But then I want to kind of prep way ahead of time season 4 so that I can just
Right.
stockpile them.
The prepping is the hard part. It's
Oh,
like, because
God.
then if you take like a week off, you lose momentum and all
Yeah.
that stuff. And
Yeah.
pod fade, that's what they call it. Yeah.
Is that what they call it?
They call it because a
Dude.
lot of people start a podcast and then they quit after like a month or 2 or whatever,
Yeah.
and then if you're not doing it every week, like even I've taken hiatuses because, I was getting divorced or moving or whatever,
Right.
and then it's like, even this, like we were building this new studio and then like we didn't record, like we recorded in December and then my new season starts like in a week or 2, so
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I haven't recorded for like all this shit happened in town and we do like current events. There's like the fires, Trump, all this shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't believe I'm not recording right now, because it was just,
No, I think even season 2, I use that very loosely because there were 7 episodes. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
Like season
right.
3
It's a
has
short season.
45. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like season 2, as there was so much life chaos and going back on tour and stuff like
Mm.
that I was like, but there was such a definite, like there was a delineation between the 2nd and 3rd season that's why I call them that.
right.
But really it's,
But it's hard to keep. It's like it's a
Yeah.
full-time job, really. It really
Yeah.
is, especially when you're a touring stand-up comedian. You've toured all over the place, but you have a comedy special that
Yeah.
you've shot
Mhm.
called Never Been Kissed, right?
Right.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That must have been exciting to do that. You did an hour on that, right?
I think that one was only,
was it
Netflix
shorter?
was who we pitched it to first. So it was like 40 minutes.
40 minutes. Okay.
Yeah. But my last one, Mama Drama, is an hour.
That's
Yeah,
great. Yeah. And like that's such an accomplishment overall because like that's something I haven't done yet, and I'm like, I really gotta film like a half hour.
Doug,
thing
you
or
have
whatever.
so much material right now.
I know,
that the hour would be a breeze for you to write. There's so much content.
I don't even know if I want to do it. I think like a half hour might be more. Like I don't even know, but like yes, that's something that's on my long list of like
Yeah.
things I need to do like in the next 4 years or whatever.
It's such a fascinating story. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
your
Yeah, exactly.
it,
I need to dive into that. But
Yeah.
but like how was that process for you? Like creating like your own show and releasing it on what streaming platform?
Amazon.
Is it?
They're both on Amazon. And the first one was self-produced,
Yeah.
and then we got Amazon to buy it, which was great.
Yeah.
And that was interesting because it did not make a lot of money because I spent way too much money on it looking back. And then that did well. And so then Comedy Dynamics reached out and said, we're actually producing like a bunch of other comedians up and coming, mostly people that were influencers that had not really done a lot of stand-up.
Yeah, that's where it's at now.
That's where it's at. And so they were like, and all of them signed their contract. I was the only one that negotiated a contract because they didn't know they could negotiate.
Yeah.
I'm reaching out to half of them being like, you guys need to
Right.
negotiate.
Get a better deal.
There's
Yeah.
something, there's a clause in here that said you have to do appearances on OnlyFans to promote your
Oh,
thing,
really?
which at the time I was like, you have to pay me for that. I don't have the bandwidth and time to do that. Like, for free.
Yeah.
On top of like, I think they were
Yeah,
offering
it's
like
another
10
thing.
grand or something to start. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
Right.
Because I'd played the game before. So I was like, so my uncle, who's a contract lawyer, he was like, let me look at this for you. And he redlined so many things.
Yeah.
And they ended up telling me like, yeah, most of that was just thrown in to see if people were paying attention
If
to the
they read it,
contract.
yeah.
And I was like,
People don't read anything.
that's so
Yeah.
shit.
They just sign it.
And also, I wouldn't have, if my uncle hadn't read it, I wouldn't have
Right,
either.
right.
I'm
Well,
just
that's
lucky that I
yeah.
have an uncle.
Well, yeah, you get like a deal or something, you're so excited, and then like
Oh,
people are
yeah.
just like, oh, finally something, and then they just
Yeah.
sign it. But it's like you gotta read through all that shit because they can own you. They can
Yeah.
like they own your thing. You're not getting paid properly. Yeah.
And there's somebody with like who had way more followers than I did at the time. I think they had like 500,000. And I'm like, you could negotiate for more than 10 grand, bud.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
Right.
Everybody just signed the contract. And I was like,
They
no,
just
I
did it.
need X, Y, and Z. So that was a lot more fun. And it was a full production. And
Right.
it was shot at the El Portal Theater. And it was, I remember that when they were like, hey, we're just gonna have you, we're gonna test the cameras with you. So just X marks the spot, go stand out there. And when I went out there, I was like, oh shit, this is this is real. Like
It's real. There's a
it's-
crowd. There's production. It's like
everything.
See, that's what freaks me. Like, did you do 2 shows or did you do 1?
That's the bad part. This one, my first one, The Never Been Kissed that I produced, that one did 2.
Right.
And thank God to Corey Craig who directed it. He packed. It was at the Ice House.
love
He
Corey,
packed it out. Yeah, he's so great. He packed it out. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he's the one who helped me get it sold too. So he's great. And now he's taking off, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then this one, it wasn't as packed out. I think we'd only been like a year and a half out of the pandemic. So people weren't really, normally I could sell that out no problem. It was it was a weird time.
People weren't coming out.
They weren't coming out. They didn't know what to laugh at. But the guy who, pumps up the audience, it's great. And they're like, oh, you only get 1 shot at this.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, that sucks because all the footage from my Never Been Kissed, 96% of it was from the second show.
Because it's like the first one's like a dress rehearsal almost. Like you warm up.
You shake off the nerves. You shake off whatever.
If you fuck up a bit, you remember and you correct it the next one or whatever. Yeah.
And
See,
I'm
that would be the hard thing for me, I think, because it's like, yeah, like you really gotta, like, I mean, you do these shows, random bars, clubs and stuff.
Right.
I only get to do like 10, 15 if I'm lucky, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like when you try to piece it all together and then you're filming it and you get like where do you rehearse it really?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you got to either go out of town to try to do a half hour of it and then do another half hour the next night or something.
Yeah, I don't think a little bit of that comes from like, I don't know if I wouldn't say that's Groundlings. I think just being maybe an actor or something where it's like you just keep running it over and over and over again.
Well, that's the thing.
But yeah,
I
don't think I ever ran it.
That's the thing. I think, like
before.
you and I know each other from Groundlings, improv, sketch background, actors kind of. But yeah, like when you're an actor and a stand-up comic, you take your actor hat and you're kind of like, yeah, I should rehearse this. I should know it like line by line or joke by joke or whatever. Like I'm gonna pause here. I'm gonna do But then like when I do like a regular club, like I don't think that way or treat it like that at all.
No, because you want to be looser.
Because you want to be looser, you're in the moment, you're improvising with the crowd, whatever, But then like, when you're taping something and there's money behind it and you get 1 shot, it's like, you better be like one man show quality like situation here,
There is something that they did tell you when you come out and you get your mark before they bring the audience in and they're checking the lights and stuff, is they say, if you mess up, stop. Take a deep breath and be like, we're going to do that again. And he goes, the audience doesn't care. So there was one point where I didn't get the laugh I wanted because the timing was just a little off. It was like a soft land instead of a hard land.
Right.
And so I go, and like the audience was laughing a little bit. And I was like, hold on, we're going to try that again. And then the audience was so on my side because they're all, family friends.
Right.
And shit. So they're there to support you. And then the opener was just like, we've been friends for years. I just met this guy.
Yeah.
He's like, we've known each other for 20 years. This girl's so hardworking and she's got a family and everybody just loves you when you come out.
No, it's great because it's like, it's almost a different, like they know that they're there for a taping.
Yeah.
They know that they're fans of yours or they know you or like they don't know you and they're still there for a taping. So like when people are in that taping audience mindset, it's like, yes, like we're gonna laugh, we're gonna clap, we're gonna, oh, she needs to do that again. Okay, let's.
And
do
they know
another take.
cameras are on them,
and
too.
they know cameras.
Yeah.
So it's a production, but it's like it's not like a regular. Like in all these specials are the same way. It's like the Netflix specials, they do two shows of them or whatever.
Yeah.
So everyone's like on their best behavior or whatever, and that's what It's not like a club.
It's the
show.
warmest room you'll ever be in.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember I came out, and that was the first time I'd not been nervous before.
Mm.
I'd always get excited, but I never get really nervous. And I was like, I think I'm gonna throw up. What is happening?
Right.
And like they go, Nicole Burch, and I start walking out, and they're giving me a standing ovation. I'm like, oh, it threw me a little bit, and I think they edited it out.
Yeah.
But you could see me in the back because there's cameras, and you can see me going.
Do you have any notes or anything like that on stage, or are you just all memorized?
Okay, so for this one, they do have a teleprompter.
Okay.
But it's so large that it only has like your beats. It doesn't have like.
But that's enough. That's enough because
God.
I've always I did 15 minutes like last week, and I was like I hadn't done 15 minutes in probably like 5 months, and I was like fuck, all right. So, but like I'll write on an index card like 5 or 6 beats, and that's it. I just put it on the stool, and you glance at it. But it's like I don't know, like if you're not doing it every night, like if you don't have the liberty to do it every night, like you're not going to remember all this shit sometimes, especially if you're doing an hour taping. Like that teleprompter has like 2 words on it. You're like, okay, this bit I remember, or this comes next, or I want to go into that.
It was such a gift because I crushed the first probably 40 minutes. And then I could feel like there's that, they're always at that 3/4 mark, unless it's a really like 100% solid special. There's always that 3/4 mark where it kind of dips for about maybe 2 jokes and then it picks back up. Right. That's kind of like the formula if you watch any stand-up comedy special.
Yeah.
And unless it's Eddie Murphy. That's, then you're like, okay, never mind.
Whatever he wants.
It's flawless. So I could feel it, and then I would just kind of look at the audience and kind of glance up, and as soon as it caught my eye, I was like, oh, thank God that was here, because I would not have.
Yeah, it's a real, it helps. I mean, just having that little note.
I think they also know you have one show.
You have one show.
They wouldn't have done it if I had a second.
It's not like you're in a Broadway show. You've been able to rehearse this for weeks and months and with an audience. It's like, you get one shot. Yeah. When did you start doing like you started as an actress, or did you start as stand-up?
I came out here in 2009 to be a very dramatic actress.
Very dramatic. Okay.
That lasted 2 days.
Really?
Then I auditioned for the Groundlings and I got in.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is what I want to do.
Right.
So I started doing that. And as you know, it's a long process.
Yeah.
I ended up being in Sunday Company, but that took, even for a female, when females go through a little bit faster,
how many years did it take you to go through the whole Groundlings thing?
I think it was 6, almost 7.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. To get into Sunday.
Yeah.
And then
that is a long commitment. It's like,
yeah.
I remember, I went through it very fast and I got rejected, which I was glad. It only took me like 3.5 or 4 years to go through the whole thing. And then I was kicked out and I was like, okay, great. I'm glad I didn't spend 10 years being like, oh my God, this is the only thing I should be doing.
Well, I think everybody, there's like levels where you're like, oh, you're so into politics. You want to hang out with all the people on the wall like that. You want to meet them at a bar at the time, the dark room. You want to like rub elbows with them. And like they could do no wrong.
No.
And then you do it for a while and you're like, okay, now I'm getting kind of tired.
Yeah.
And then by the time I was in Sunday, I remember telling Tony Cavallero, who we were doing another production at like UCB or something.
Right.
And I was like, he goes, how's it going? I was like, I'm ready to be done, man. And I knew he'd vote on me. And he's like, don't say that. And I was like, nah, I think I'm ready to be.
Yeah.
It's not. I did not have a good experience.
You didn't like
Sunday
Sunday?
Company. No, I did not. I think I did not have a kind director.
Yeah.
So she made me change my.
A lot of people, I think, have that same feeling, or I don't know. It's interesting. It's always like, I didn't do Sunday Company, but I was like, I remember feeling like it was like me and one other person that got kicked out. And then everyone else, all my friends, obviously the people that I've known forever, they all got in. And I was like, all right. And like then once I got kicked out, I was like, this is the last, like, I don't even want to go to your show almost, you know what I mean? Because you're pissed. You're like, what the fuck? Me, I'm the only one that didn't get through, so I'm like, all right. So there was that time period of where like, I like at arm's length, I was like, yeah, all right, let's stay away from this for a while.
I now live walking distance to the Groundlings, and I haven't been to a show. I went the 6 months after me because I still had my friends in it that continued, and then I had new friends that had come in.
Right.
So I wanted to support them in their advanced shows.
I eventually went, but it was. But then when people slowly started getting kicked out, they would come over and be like, "Yeah, fuck that place." It's like, see, that's what I was going through while you guys were having the time of your life.
It's so funny. Like looking back, bird's eye, the people that let it. Like, look at you. You have like your own podcast. Like, you're doing great.
Well, it's fine.
There's people that quit the industry when they were rejected.
Yeah.
And
there's also, it's also interesting that place where it's like the people that do excel and succeed in it, they're great. They're super talented. But there's a lot of people that like, they don't do anything else. Like they are in that bubble and they're almost afraid maybe to like branch out and do something else.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. And
there was a woman who I adore who was on the main company when I was there, and she didn't even audition for anything. She literally just loved doing, and like she would say it, I just love being on the stage and performing, but then the rest of it is I'm a family woman.
Right.
And I loved her the most because she wasn't also trying to chase anything else.
Well, that's
she was just
interesting.
Like, I like these shows.
She's like, that's what she's doing like as a hobby almost, which is kind of cool.
I
and
respected that.
Probably also like, while like, sometimes it's like, oh, she's not threatening. So like, let's have her stay or whatever,
Oh,
but
that's
like,
true. Yeah, I didn't
but
think about
like
that.
there's a lot of weird, like politic kind of things in it and stuff like that. And
yeah.
I don't know. I always thought it'd be a cool, like if someone did a documentary on that place. But like really,
it's got to be coming down the.
But like really,
dude.
like like the main company members, like they don't reveal like how they vote or who does this or it's like closed door secret shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like that's the documentary you'd want to watch. Like, get that information or like,
how many things have been brought to the what's that board?
the board of groundlings. I
Like
don't
where
know.
if somebody's being abused or mistreated, I can't.
Right.
It starts with an S. But if somebody's brought to that, it's like, well, how did you guys handle it? Not very well. Probably.
Yeah. So like, I don't know, like that would be an interesting film documentary, but I don't think anyone has the balls to make it.
No, I don't
So,
either.
and I don't think a lot of the main company members would contribute or participate
No,
in it. It's like kind of like
that's why
they don't want to badmouth anything or whatever, you know.
I mean, it did look. It taught me how to write 40 hours
Yes.
a week.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and that's the part with Sunday Company. I was like grateful for it. Did
Mhm.
that.
No, it was.
But it made me kind of hate comedy for a while. And
Yeah, no, totally. It was a good experience. You know, it forced me to do like, direct stuff, write things, shoot things,
Yeah.
create your own thing, whatever, you know. So it puts a fire under you a little
Yeah,
bit.
you're also surrounded by a lot of people that have that same like
Yeah.
gumption, like they're ready to go. And I think after when I got out, I was angry
Mm.
and like I look back and I'm like, girl, just let it go. Like,
Just move
like
on.
that's
Yeah.
how I'd be now.
Yeah.
But it pissed me off, and so I wrote a show called The 7 Guys You Date Before You Get
Right,
Married.
I remember
and,
that show,
And
yeah.
they let me perform that there.
Yeah.
Like the rest of the staff was like so lovely and so supportive, and I thought I was going to do it one time. It ended up running for like 15 months.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And that got me like my agent, they got me gigs, they got me
Right.
a national commercial. Like it did a bunch for me, and I was like, oh, but that's who I am. Like I'll take bad stuff and make it into good stuff.
Totally, yeah. No, and that's what's great about it. It gives you like if you did get in or did you probably wouldn't have done this or that or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like almost too safe to like dabble in other things or whatever.
Yeah.
So you start doing your one woman show, and that's kind of like what started like your stand. Or did you stand up while you were doing Groundlings, or did you just
No,
mainly
so
do
I did.
character work?
I did 7 Guys for 15 months, and after that, I went to actually the guy I have a baby with. Hello, shout out. He goes, do you want to go to my friend Adam's comedy show? It's at the Federal. And so we went and we were watching it, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. It's like everybody gets 7 minutes and there's a headliner that does like 30. And I was like, oh, so I talked to the guy who was running it named TK, and I was like, hey,
oh yeah, I remember TK.
TK, yeah. And I was like, hey, can I try the 7 minute thing? And he's like, yeah. And he goes, it's a bringer show. And I was like, yeah, I don't care. That's fine.
Right.
I mean, it's not going to be my career.
Yeah.
And then I brought the cast of 7 Guys. Everybody showed up to support.
Yeah.
And basically, most of it was all about my dating, but a lot of it was from the monologues that I used in 7 Guys. It was just in stand-up form now.
Okay. Yeah.
So it crushed. I killed. For months, I never bombed. And I was making money doing it, and I was like, oh, maybe this is something that I could do. And then you bomb that first time, and you're like, oh, fuck.
Well, it's always interesting. Like, it's like certain things always work with like certain crowds, and then like you go do like the mic at like the Comedy Store, the Improv, and you're like, wow, fuck, this shit, like they don't give a shit about this. Like, this did not work at all. Like maybe it's not good. I don't know.
I was like, I'm untouchable. I just told
Right.
Eddie Pence this the other day. I was like, I felt like I was untouchable because it had been like 2 years, and then it was right after the pandemic. The first show back, I opened for Chris Porter at the Improv in Kansas City, my hometown.
Yeah.
Most of my family was there.
Right.
And I've never bombed so hard. My mom, who you've met,
Yeah.
my mom, who's so supportive and loving, afterwards, she goes, what the fuck was that? Like she was
That's the worst. There's nothing worse than performing for your family.
oh,
I would
God.
say. Like
So I could do it now, but that show was rough.
But it's always like, I remember I went to Buffalo, New York with my ex-wife, and like we were visiting her family, and I was anytime I would travel, I was trying to do like a spot wherever we were. Or whatever.
Great,
so
yeah.
like I hit up like a bar show
Yeah.
that was in Buffalo, and I guess like I didn't know what kind of show it was gonna be. I'd never been there, So they're like, yeah, great, like you can do like 10 minutes. I was like, hey, great, But then like my in-laws and like my wife's like aunt and uncle and cousins, like they all were coming, right? And then I get to the bar and there's no audience. It's like they're the audience. And then they're like, hey, would you like to headline? And I was like, what is that? Like, what is that? Like, I'm 10 minutes. They're like, well, you do like 15. I was like, all right, fine, whatever, And then they all sit up front. There's a stage. They all sit right in the front row. And that's it. And like, there's no one else. Like, there's like maybe 1 or 2 guys sitting at the bar. And then like, it's the worst show ever.
Oh.
And I'm like, I could have done this in the living room or something. It was horrible.
Actually, I just realized my comedy special, Never Been Kissed, happened because you had me perform at that place in Glendale.
Oh,
Gauchos?
Gauchos. Yeah, the Brazilian grill place.
You
Yeah.
had me. So Corey Craig and I had met, and he'd been following me around town doing shows,
Yeah.
and it was not working. He was like, "There's a million girls talking about how bad dating is in LA.
Right.
Like it's just not because I don't think we have enough here. Just let me know." I was like, "Well, there's one more show I've got, the one I told you about in Glendale." I was like, "Don't worry about coming to it because like if you think that I don't have anything, you know." And he's like, "Well, I actually scheduled a meeting right by there, so I'm gonna pop by."
Right.
And that's when I told the Michael Vartan story. And I
okay.
remember I ran the light, but you were like, "Keep going, just keep going." And I was like, "Okay." So then I finished it, and everybody was like, it did fairly well. I think like there were some former Groundlings people. In the
Yeah, it was a
audience.
small crowd, probably.
Yeah, but it was great.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, "What happened?" And had all these stories. And I took that half-hour story and made it into 8 minutes.
Oh, that's great.
And he's texting while I'm doing the set. And I'm like, this Corey must hate me. Turns out he was texting me notes the whole time on how we were going to film it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I was like, oh. So so I owe that to you.
Oh, well, see,
yeah. So
there
thank you. That's why I have a comedy special.
Thank you for doing that show. Yeah, that show was always hit or miss. So I'm glad you had.
I had fun there though.
It was a good place. It was like the first like show that I ran, pretty
Yeah.
much like as a comic producer. But yeah, I met a lot of like good people there. Like just like getting my feet wet with producing and stuff like that. So
It was great. That was fun.
that place was great. Yeah, they let me do whatever. They would give us like free food and free drinks and stuff like that. But yeah, it was kind of like out of the way, but it was a good spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I'm glad that worked out.
Yeah.
And your characters that you do, you've been doing this character, Nurse Rachel, right? Nurse
Yes.
Rachel.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play a clip. Is that all right?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
No.
Some people are like, no, let's not play a clip. Let's see. I can figure this out. I'll have to edit
That's
this.
that's
All right.
Doing on 4th of July, and I am going to be working overtime because y'all are freaking crazy, okay? Freaking crazy. 2019, I had some 6-year-old come in, 3 fingers blown off. Why? Because his brother handed him what he thought was a sparkler, turned out to be an M80. Did the dad that brought them in, was he wearing a wife beater and drinking a PBR? You betcha. That's how it goes. 2020, we were all supposed to be quarantining, right? This is the South, baby boy. What we're doing is we're getting 300 of our closest relatives and going down to Choctaw baseball field. We're going to watch this huge display, but then the display flips over and shoots all the fireworks into the crowd. What? Yeah, the worst injury from that was definitely Earl Brinkley because now he has permanent 3rd-degree burns over half of his face. The kids don't call him Earl anymore. They call him Freddie.
That's great. How long have you been doing this character?
That might have actually been the first video.
Oh, really?
I think so. Which I had fun doing that. I was pre-med in college and I ended up doing an internship. So that first story was true about the 6-year-old handing his 3-year-old brother a sparkler, but it was an M80.
Right.
And yes, the dad came in with a wife beater and back then I was dropping names. I made up all those names.
Yeah.
Obviously those were.
Yeah.
And so I had, they did okay. And then I started throwing in an X-ray or two and then it took off.
Yeah.
And people have a weird.
Was this a character that you did in Groundlings at all?
No. I had the scrubs from I was in somebody else's sketch.
Yeah.
I was a doctor or nurse in somebody else's sketch.
Right.
And so I had that. And I have a cousin whose name is Rachel, who's been an OR nurse in Nashville for 20 years. And so I've always looked up to her and she tells me crazy stories. And so I just, I didn't even ask her. I was like, I'm just going to start doing this Nurse Rachel character. Everybody's based on my family. I have an Aunt Jean character based on my great Aunt Jean. So and with that, she thinks it's the funniest thing ever.
It's great because it's it taps into your old sketch character work with stand-up and this character kind of thing. And yeah, people love these it's interesting even the subconscious stuff from Groundlings or whatever. I have a bit that I used to do as a character with the Groundling shows. I was like, oh, this would be a good stand-up bit, me just talking about the character that I played, but and then kind of acting it out a little bit, but as me kind of. So I started to incorporate some of that stuff into stand-up, and I'm like, oh, this is stuff I never even thought could work as a stand-up bit or whatever. So you doing this character is great, and people seem to really like it. I mean, it's super funny and relatable.
I'm gonna start touring with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had it. Like people asked me like a year ago, and I was like, "That sounds. What am I, Larry the Cable Guy? What you know?" But then you're also like, "Well, he's worth $100 million. Am I
Well,
not?"
it
You know?
makes sense because if it's getting like views on TikTok and Instagram and all this stuff, and people like
Yeah.
love this character, it's like why not?
My last show in San Diego, 70% of the audience were nurses,
Yeah.
or at least first responders. You
Right.
know, and then and I just did a verbal bit on her that I prepped. It was like 4 minutes, and then the audience really took to it, so I just extended it to like 8 minutes. But I was like, oh, and my friend Holly Mandel, also from the Groundlings.
Yep.
So the Groundlings it's got,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
great stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to, it's the
No,
thing that we're just shit
it's
talking.
some great stuff. Some of my best friends,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah,
like
exactly.
We've known each other for all these years and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Holly Mandel was like, she has a show that she would do there called Good Girls Aren't Funny. And she has a projector and she runs in it. She makes it like a set, like an actual set. And she's got her iPad and she switches slides when she needs to. And she goes, what if you did that with the x-rays? And I was like, oh my God, I could totally do that.
Totally, yeah.
And that in the corporate and also corporate gigs too.
Yeah.
Have already been paid. Like, and they pay.
They pay good. Yeah, I know. They pay good.
Stupid.
No, it's interesting, and it's like I even just watching some of these clips of you doing this character, I was like, I have like one character that I kind of want to bring back and do something with. I don't know what yet, like either a podcast or clips or something like that. But like, it's kind of like when enough time has passed, like from that stuff, it's like, oh yeah, that character would be good if I could like figure that out or whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows, But it's fun to see like the different side of you. Out on the internet for everyone to see.
I always say she's kind of like, how not Jason. Yeah, no. Jason Sudeikis talks about Ted Lasso.
Oh yeah,
where he's like, no, I'm not that nice. Like he's the nicest version of me. That's Nurse Rachel. She's just sweet. She's supportive. She does not judge. And I'm like, she's just the nicest.
She's the nicest version. Yeah, exactly. All right, we're going to take a moment for our sponsor just to read this real quick. Blue Chew is our sponsor. Have better sex with Blue Chew. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. Starting now, Blue Chew's offering Blue Chew Max, which is a combination active ingredients of Viagra and Cialis into one chewable tablet. This combo acts fast and it lasts. Blue Chew, some comments from real Blue Chew users. This one user wrote, I cut diamonds with my tip, dude. That's anonymous. That's anonymous. I don't know who it is, but that is a Blue Chew user who said that you could be missing out on the best sex of your life if you don't take Blue Chew. That is true. There's nothing sexier than confidence, and Blue Chew can help give you the confidence where it counts. And if you are interested in using Blue Chew and trying it, it's prescription based. So you go to bluechew.com. You're going to fill out a couple questionnaires, and they're going to see if you're approved for it. And you're going to get your first month free if you use the promo code Basshole at checkout. That's right, bluechew.com, promo code Basshole for your first month free. Just pay $5 shipping, and that will arrive in your mailbox, and you'll be ready to go for the weekend. That's right. More horsepower. Enough said. Bluechew.com, and we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. Thanks, Blue Chew. Nicole's like,
obsessed. I want some right now.
You want some right now? Well, it's not for females.
Dang it!
But you can give it to your
my husband.
partner. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Everyone's using it now. I don't know what to say.
It's pretty popular.
It's pretty popular.
Yeah.
It's pretty popular. I've tried it because I've had to take it for this. They're our lovely sponsors. So I want to be able to back what I say. But that's where it's at. All right, so your asshole story. You were on our live show, the Basshole Show, at the Improv. You won the night of Basshole of the Night. Let's hear your Basshole story. Let's go back and go back to the beginning of what happened.
All right, this takes place in 2001, 2002 maybe. I was a sophomore in college, and I was casually dating, and I'll say casually, dating a guy whose nickname was Tweeter. Tweeter, if you remember the movie Varsity Blues.
I do.
Was kind of popular around that time.
Yeah.
And the character Tweeter was played by Scott Conn, and he was like the playboy riddled with STDs, and I was dating the guy who was nicknamed after him. So, okay, all right. And they named him correctly. And we were going through like a break or whatever, and he was a member of a fraternity. I was a member of a sorority, and we were like sister, brother, sister, whatever. Like we hang out all the time, we party all the time, and he said, "Hey, don't come over to the party we're throwing tonight because I don't feel good." And I was like, "Well, I can come over and take care of you." And he's like, "No, don't do that." And I was like, "Well, can I go with my sorority sisters to the party part while you're hiding in your room?" And he was like, "No, don't do that either because I'd feel jealous that you're having so much fun without me." And I was like, "That sounds just suspect, right?"
Yeah, a little shady. Yeah.
So I'm at the sorority drinking by myself. All my sorority sisters went to this party, and one of them calls me. This is like before cell phones were like really popular, and so calls me on the landline, and I'm about a bottle of Boone's Farm Strawberry Fields Inn or Strawberry Hill Inn. Delicious. And I'm like crying. I've got like my cute little jean skirt on and my cute little tank top, and 40 pounds ago. And this girl calls and she goes, "You're not going to believe this, but Tweeter's fine. He's not sick. He's having a blast. And he's been making out with this girl who happens to look just like you." And I was like, "What?" And so we could walk. It was probably 3/4 of a mile away, right? Uh-huh. So that's enough time for me to open another bottle of Strawberry Hill Boone's Farm and start walking. And by the time I get there, I finish the bottle. And I'm trying to, like, when you walk up, you see the house, and in front of the house, there's like 40, 50 people in the front lawn. The rest of them are inside. And then to the right of the house is a long, thin parking lot where they're all kind of stacked diagonally. All the cars are parked there. Tweeters happened to be the first one, which was a Hunter Green Pathfinder. And it was a brand new one that he was very proud of that I think Daddy bought or something. And I, instead of just stopping to see where my sorority sisters were, people were like, they saw the look on my face as I approached the party. And then I started to approach the vehicle. And they were like, hey, what are you doing? You know, they thought, you know, I had an empty glass bottle in my hand. They didn't know if I was going to swing it. And I was like, "Oh, here, no, you can hold that. I don't need that anymore." And so I started to climb onto his Pathfinder on the hood of his car. And I'm like, "Hey, is everybody having fun?" I start telling jokes. Right. And everybody's like laughing. And I'm like on this dude's car. And you can see a couple of them, the fraternity guys, scurry away to go inside to get him. And I knew that's what was happening. So, what I didn't account for, I didn't know what I was going to do. At first, I think I was just going to dance on I was trying to be sexy and dance. And then I realized I was fucking hammered. So it wasn't sexy as much as it was hilarious. And people were taking out their cameras because everybody had digital cameras back then. And everybody starts laughing. The sorority girls are like, "Come on, let's get down. Let's get you home. Like, you've had he's gone. He already went to his room." And I was like, "Oh, I bet he went to his room. I bet he went to the room with that whore." Like, it was just, that kind of, everybody was laughing. At first, it was like really lighthearted. And then I was like, "Oh, you guys want to see something funny? You guys want to see something funny?" So I started pissing on the hood of his car. And it was funny. And it was great. And everybody thought it was hilarious. I didn't realize how long it was going to take to empty 2 full bottles of wine. And so the first 15, 20 seconds, dude, crushing. Yeah. It's like crushing at the Comedy Store. Like, there's no better high. Yeah. But around 30, 40 seconds, I can't turn it off. I'm just standing there. Now it's going down my legs. It's just not the situation that I was hoping for. And I'm like, look away, don't stare at me.
Can't stop.
No.
And you can't stop
and
peeing.
You can't stop.
And it's just like, it's like that joke that, you went too far with it.
Yeah, and at one point I'm like leaning against and it's like, and it was a mess. And then finally he comes out. Well, I've got like maybe 10 seconds left to pee and left in me. And the girl's behind him. I'm like, "Fuck you." Now people are like, oh, they're turning away. They don't want to see it anymore. They're putting their cameras down. It's just like so indecent. They're like, "Who is this chick?" And then I like look, and as I'm like the last trickle that comes out of me, I look at her and I go, "Oh my God, she does look just like me."
She's just standing there like.
She's just standing there. And then he, that's when he goes, he kind of pushes her back in, and then he goes, "She's not even worth it." And then that's when I took the heel of my cowboy boot and slammed it into his windshield and broke his windshield. Yeah. Wow. I think it took like 3 good kicks.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
That's a good story. I mean,
yeah, it's fun.
But you, so I mean, obviously he was cheating on you.
Actively, yeah.
But you,
I would say this is what I will say. We were not monogamous. He, as Oprah says, people tell you who they are. He definitely showed me who he was way before this moment. And the
Right.
reason I say I'm the asshole, because most people are like, well, he cheated. And I'm like, yeah, but I knew exactly who he was. And I just
You knew it. You
going
just
back.
needed you
Yeah.
didn't like walk in on them. You just knew it was happening.
Oh, I knew.
Yeah. And this was
Yeah.
like your moment to like prove like, you're a
Oh,
piece
yeah.
of shit or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty good though. And then the people turning away and
My God. It was.
what was the after like math of this thing? So once you break his window with the shoe, like does he like do you guys
I think
talk
my
afterwards or do you just leave?
Oh,
Like,
we
what happens?
dated for like another 2
Oh,
months.
another 2
Oh,
months.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
All right.
6 months. It might have been 6 months. I'm trying to
Right.
think because we had a breakup that lasted 2 months, and I think that might have been maybe that we still stayed together, and he was like, because I was crazy. I
Yeah.
was good in bed. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the when you're crazy. That's what it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And no
Yeah.
one left.
Now
You
that
guys-
I'm sane, I'm a starfish in bed. It's literally, it is tied to like the crazier the chick,
Yeah.
the better she is in bed. Now I'm like so vanilla and boring, dude,
Right.
because I've like had therapy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's interesting, and it's like I mean, like you stay with him for 2 more months, and then I mean, you get over this fight or whatever.
Yeah.
Are like people like the people that you're in school with, are they all like talking like about it afterwards?
Oh
like
yeah.
the next day and
I
shit?
think I even got pulled down to member development where they were like, hey, we're concerned about
Right.
this
We
relationship.
heard-
It seems
we heard-
very toxic.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, no, it's cool. Like I was very surprised that I could be pulled down for that.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking about it. He also messed up a few more times after that I was like,
Right.
I'm just getting bored with it.
No.
So-
Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah.
And what happened to the girl that looked like you?
She didn't even, I think she went to KU because I went to Washburn University
you
in
didn't even know
Topeka.
her, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she wasn't.
Yeah.
God, oh my God.
Yeah. If it was someone you had gone to school with, and then
No.
you'd have
Or
to
God
see her.
forbid a sorority. Well, a sorority sister wouldn't have done that, but.
Right, exactly, yeah. That's a great asshole story. It won the night. I mean, people can really relate to cheating stories, obviously, but taking them into your own hands like that is epic,
Yeah.
because like you're like, I don't care who sees this. You're drunk, obviously, but like, fuck it, like I'm going
Yeah.
for it. You make that decision in that split second. Where like, yeah, I'm gonna piss on his car and fucking break
Yeah,
his
I
windshield.
remember security showed up in a golf cart because it's a small campus,
Right.
right? Like, so he showed up in a golf cart. I wish I could remember his name. He was fantastic. And the sorority sisters had pulled me off once the glass broke. And you just see him pulling up. What's his name? Chuck? I don't know. But he pulls up and he's like, Birch, let's go. We got to get you tucked into bed. Like, he was just this guy who's like, get into bed. You're like, done. But I didn't have to pay for anything. Like, I
See,
don't know. I
that's-
don't know what lie he told his dad, but insurance covered it. I don't know.
You didn't have to pay for anything.
No.
That's always nice when you don't have to pay for something that you fucked up.
Yeah.
Because like I never have that problem. I always end up paying for the fucking
Yeah.
situation kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, by the way, like if I found out my daughter pulled this shit, I'd be like, you're paying for that. That's ridiculous. You need to
Yeah.
control your
I've always
emotions.
there was like one time I remember like my friends my friend and I share a birthday and my one friend threw us a joint party like when we were like probably like 23, 24, I don't even know, but like I remember drinking for free the whole night,
Yeah.
and I got so wasted. They had to get me out of there within like an hour of like the party. So like people brought gifts, all this shit, then they were like, I was back in the bartenders who was friends of theirs, like apartment that like lived upstairs from the bar or whatever. And apparently I threw up onto this guy's MacBook, like the laptop computer,
Oh
right?
my
Like out of all, I was on a
God.
couch, like in all the places, I just threw up on this guy's computer.
Oh, no.
And I don't remember it, and then like the next day someone had to tell me like, hey, you kind of ruined so-and-so's MacBook. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, yeah, you threw up all over it. It's like the whole thing's caked in vomit. Like,
Oh, no.
and I was like, huh. I was like, okay. I don't, they're like,
the most expensive.
they're like, you're going to have to pay for it, And I was like, all right. I was like, and I don't remember it. So I'm just like, I guess I did that, I don't know, And then I'm like, obviously like it was my birthday, like drank for free the whole night. This guy had all like people brought me little gifts and shit, right? So I was like, all right, I'll pay. I bring it to the Apple store, tell them like, hey, the thing's soaked in vomit. It needs like a new motherboard or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, it ended up costing like $900. And like, I don't have any money like at that age.
No.
And like, it would have probably been cheaper to buy a new. Like, I don't even know how they cleaned it, but they fixed it somehow. It cost $900. I give it back. I get it back to the guy, and I was like, "Hey, can you at least bring like my birthday gifts and stuff like that?" Like, and then he showed up, and he he didn't bring the gifts, and I gave him his computer, and I was like, sorry, whatever. Does he have the gifts? He's like, no, I forgot them. I was like, all right. And then like I never saw the guy again, and like I never got the gifts. I never.
And you did the right thing by
and I
making
did
it
the right
right
thing because he friends were mutual friends of his and shit, So I was like, I don't want to bad karma or whatever. But like that was like one of my birthdays where I was like, I was like an asshole probably, but I also like tried to make up for it.
Yeah.
And I always end up just breaking shit. It's like,
that sucks.
But like,
That sucks.
you getting away with not paying for the windshield is a gold mine in my book, because you always feel guilty.
I think he's also the only guy I've ever like had physical contact with.
Yeah.
Because he said he loved me and I slapped him across the face.
Oh wow. All right.
Isn't that weird? Like how dysfunctional was I back then?
I
I obviously wanted him to be in love with me on some level.
But the
right?
fact that he said
and
it,
then when
like,
he finally said it in front of all of his fraternity brothers, I was like,
you're like,
I'm gonna
what
slap you
Right.
across the face. That's called daddy issues, by the way. If you
But
guys don't know
those-
what that's called. That's called severe daddy issues.
Well, I mean, I feel like everyone's been in these toxic relationships in their life at some point, and
Oh yeah, he was the biggest one.
they're
Yeah.
exciting, they're thrilling, they're fun, they're horrible,
Yeah.
but it's like it's all part of it, It's like
Yeah.
love, but it's like infatuation. I don't know, like
And then next
everyone's
guy
got to go
dated,
through it. Yeah,
so boring.
Right.
It was great.
right,
It was great.
right. Well, you
Yeah.
get out of that phase at some point.
Yeah.
Everyone in their life, I think, where it's like, all right, this is great, but like, it's like so much drama to keep up with, and they're fighting, and whatever. It's like,
Yeah, I think you get worn down. You just get tired of it.
yeah, you don't want to deal with it anymore. You're
Yeah.
just like, all right, yeah, I would like to sit home and watch Netflix and just
That's it.
not do anything.
That's it. Like me
Party
and my,
days are over.
me and my husband are talking tonight. Like, should we just get tacos tonight and just
Right.
like watch something on TV? Yeah,
Yeah,
great,
right?
awesome.
That's what like there's
Boring.
there's like an age where it switches over, like, and it's like I'm at that age now. I think I'm like 44. So like, when I was married like 3-4 years ago, there was like nonstop shit going on.
Yeah.
And then like even before after pandemic, things like just calmed down. It was like different,
Yeah,
And now it's like, there's nothing going on. It's like
Yeah.
this is my high now. This doing these podcasts or whatever.
yeah.
And
This
it's
is the
like,
drama. This
this
is
is
the
it.
kick you get.
yeah, exactly. It's like it's just a whole other thing. Yeah. Which I don't know. I mean, that just comes with age, That's where we're
I
at.
feel that.
All right. So what is next for you as far as what are you're moving? You're moving?
I'm moving to Kansas City. Yeah, I
how
don't
do
know
you
if I
fe-
should say that. But
Oh, we won't cut it out.
I
if
don't
you
know.
want.
Yeah,
I'll
let's
cut
cut
it
that out.
All right, we'll cut it out.
Let's see. So I'm starting. I have a mini summer tour.
Okay. Where are you going with that?
Let's see. I'm trying to think. I'm going to Oklahoma, Texas, Stamford, Connecticut, New York, Kansas City will be my last stop, which is great. And that's where my hometown, and it's already like 70% sold out, and
That's
it's not
amazing.
until like August 21st. So I'm like, oh, those are all my family members.
Yeah.
It's also so I graduated class of 2000,
Mm.
and we didn't, because of 2020, we didn't get to have our 20-year reunion, and this would be our 25th. And I posted it in like a Facebook chat or whatever. So people are like, hey, why don't we make this our 25th reunion?
So your class reunion is going to be your show?
I think for those who follow this
Yeah.
Facebook page, I don't
Right.
think everybody does.
Yeah.
But there are quite a few that have already bought tickets. And
That's
stuff.
exciting, though.
Yeah, dude,
that's
I'm
kind of that's
excited.
kind of a cool way to go to your class reunion. I
Yeah.
would say, it's like,
Yeah.
what have you been up to? This,
This.
like this is what I do.
And
Yeah,
there's like stuff I can talk about, but that's also 25 years ago.
yeah.
I am a little nervous of people coming up to me like, hey, do you remember that? And I'll be like, dude, I don't have any.
You're like, I don't
memory.
even remember you.
I don't remember. I'm like, can we wear? This is why we wear name tags at reunions.
Are
Because
you
I'm
clo-
gonna.
How
like,
big was like your high school graduating class?
I think it was like 200.
Okay, mine was like 100. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
a small school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you keep in touch with a lot of high school friends still?
I've my friend David Burrows is probably the person I talk to the most, and if he heard that, he'd be like, "We don't talk that much. I can't believe that's what you're telling people." But because I'm Burch and he's Burrows, so we were always
Oh,
next to each other in any lineup and
Right.
lockers and stuff. He's now my mortgage guy, which is great. And so if you guys need any national help with your mortgage, he can work in any state.
Call
David
him.
Burrows.
Yeah.
But him and then like friends that I used to have, I've been in touch with a lot more now that we all have kids. And
Right.
so we're actually going to go visit next week and hopefully touch base with a lot of those people.
That's
again.
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, class reunion, that should be fun. I didn't go to my 20 year reunion.
I didn't go to any of them. So I'm like,
I don't even think I only had one, and I missed it because I had to go to a wedding out here,
Yeah.
and I regretted it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I talked to like 3 people maybe from high school.
That's about the same. I mean,
And I think now just Facebook, it's like, I see,
I see you.
I see what you look like, and I'm okay staying home. Like that used to be half of why people wanted to go to reunions, right?
To see
Like,
you.
what the fuck does that guy look like now? Like, oh wow.
It's like, now we know. We know where everybody's at.
You can
We
do
know
it
where
from
everybody's at.
remote virtually now. You can check
Yeah.
in on everyone.
Yeah.
Nothing big to report, but I don't know. Yeah, it is an exciting thing for people to go back, I think, and see what people are up to, and
Yeah. I think it also
who's
depends
happy, who's
where-
not.
It depends where you're at. I think if you're miserable, you're not going to go to. That's why I didn't go to my 10-year reunion.
Yeah.
I was like, "What? I'm going to run into my high school sweetheart who's like happily married, and I'm like, ugh, I'm struggling actor living in a studio
I don't know.
apartment.
I don't know
like,
why.
What are we doing?
I don't think I'd go back now because it's like, I don't know. Like now I'm divorced. It's like, I don't know. It's like I don't know.
Where did you go though?
New Jersey. Yeah, Cedar
You'd
Grove,
clean
New
up,
Jersey.
though.
I was just there 2 weeks ago, and
Yeah?
and I hate going there. I mean, my family all lives there, but like, I don't know. The town is like, it's very Republican. It's very, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like there's nothing to do. There's like a bar I'll go to like and have dinner. And I don't know. It's just like
There's nothing.
I grew up like 25 minutes from New York City, so.
Yeah.
Usually,
Oh, you just go there. Yeah.
Usually, I didn't go this time, but like usually, it was the first time I didn't go to the city because I was only there for a weekend. But usually it's like 2 or 3 days in the hometown, and then I got to get into New York because then it's like I'm losing my mind.
You start losing it. Are you like more rural or city?
I'm suburban, like
Okay.
like New Jersey suburb, like
Yeah.
Montclair is like the closest like little
Gotcha.
city hub kind of situation, but there's a lot of things there, but like we're my parents' house is like you can't walk anywhere really, like I walked up to the CVS, that's like a 20-minute walk,
Yeah, that's the one thing. Like with where I live now, like I'm in West Hollywood, so like we walk to Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Target, and then like not to mention bars and restaurants, even though every one of them on Melrose is closed now, but there's always places to like walk to, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. They have to drive to a outdoor super mall, to walk
do
to
something,
places, to do something.
Like I don't know if I would do well, like if I ever left LA, it's like I'm so used to like being able to walk to a restaurant, a bar, a store. I like that. Like that, you still got to drive everywhere.
Too.
But like
I love
that.
My husband loves the walking aspect. He's from Dallas, so he loves that he can walk anywhere. We do have to we have been chased by homeless people a few times though, so like that's the
you gotta
bad
think
side
about
of
that.
it.
Yeah. But this is not. I mean, and for living in this city as long as we have, this is the least walkable city that there is. But if you live in an area where you can kind of walk to a couple things, but then you don't leave that bubble really. You know? But I don't know. I mean, I do miss. I don't know. At some point, I think I want to live in a city where you don't need you to get on the subway or the whatever, and
Would you do New York?
I don't know. I don't know if I would do New
cold,
York. I mean, I never actually lived in New York, but that's my city growing up. So I don't know. Part of me as a 44-year-old now, it's like, I don't know. It seems like tiring living there now. Like, it's like I miss that
so
boat.
bad. I used to want to so bad, and now I'm like, oh.
I know.
I still love it to visit.
I still love it to visit. When I moved out here, I got an internship and then I got a job and I just stayed here. And I wanted to end up here eventually. So I was like, I'm here. I might as well just stay. So all my other friends did a year or two in New York and then moved out here. So by not going back, I missed that window. I was just like, I'm already here. I was like, whatever. And now it's 22 years later. So.
And that's the year that you would have had the most fun.
Exactly.
Yeah. I get
so,
that.
Now if I go back, it's like, who's this old person hanging out?
I just feel so. I had a long distance relationship with somebody in New York, and I was like, I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it. And then
that's like the best situation because, you can go for like a weekend and then you come
all the
back.
time. And then he took me like to the Hamptons. I was like, this is great, dude.
Right.
Now I go back and I'm like, I do have so much fun.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, I could never live here.
No, it's like 3 days. You're tired. It's like you're like looking to go somewhere else.
Because it's like if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And I'm like, I don't have that.
I don't know. Yeah, I can't make it there. I can barely make it here.
Exactly.
So I'll just stay here. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, Nicole Burch is going on tour this summer. Make sure you follow her on Instagram. What's your Instagram?
At Nicole Burch Comedy.
At Nicole Burch Comedy. Follow her there. Make sure you check out her comedy tour dates. Get some tickets if you want to go see Nicole.
Please.
She's going to be performing all over the place. And then follow her on Instagram and check out her Nurse Rachel videos, which are blowing up everywhere. And of course, her podcast is The Funny Thing Is, and that's currently streaming now, and then the new season will be coming at some point. Yeah.
Yes.
Anything else you want to add?
That's it. You got everything covered.
I got everything
Great.
covered.
Yeah,
Well,
thanks for having me.
Thank you for your asshole story. It was a great story. And I don't know. I'll see you soon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Remember to follow the Basshole Show at Basshole Show and the YouTube channel. All the videos are up there. And remember, guys, don't be a basshole. But if you are, laugh about it. Ciao.